Welcome back to Life a Go-Go, where chaos, coffee, and questionable decisions collide. And if we haven't met, I'm Mary.
And I'm Adrian.
And today we're talking about one of our group's absolute most favorite conversations, making the most of your summer.
Yeah, so for so many of us, Mary, I know myself included, we're going strong, we're on that winter vibe, and then May, it's still so cold here in Ohio. But it's all this like spring energy, and then before you know it, it's June, and I'm like, oh, I should do something this summer, and the leaves are changing, and here we are back to school season. So for me, it's definitely a topic I appreciate revisiting because I need a plan to get to get anything out of my summer.
Oh, absolutely. And the reality is we are all in very different life stages than we were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, for most of us, the heavy lifting years are winding down, and by that I mean we go to the pool because we had to take the little kids, or the park, or the amusement, or we had a million summers filled with team sports, or then we had that whole May, December graduation, and anyhow, the craziness.
Mhm.
But that's really kind of stopped now. And we need to stop and think about who we are, who I am, and what I really want to do this summer because I don't have to answer for anybody else. I can just do me.
And I think summer has that romance appeal to it, right? Like it's that childhood summer, those long evenings, the freedom, the ability to kind of do whatever you want to do and kind of try on different personalities a little bit. You don't have to be as rigid as we feel like we have to be the rest of the year. And so I think that makes that perfect low stakes container for that question that you're asking. Like, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Because you have pretty much a definitive start and end date. It makes that feel doable for something that you want to try out or just take some time away from your regular routine.
Yeah, and you're right. It gives you some freedom. And I use that word freedom very intentionally because we still have the invisible load. Like I still work, other people work
Mhm.
full or part-time. We still have maybe some aging parents. We still have responsibilities. We may be married or widowed or single, and we still have those. But we're going to talk a little bit about that, how to work that into still having the summer that you really are going to enjoy.
During this video, what we're going to kind of do is pull in on some of our best content from previous presentations, and we're going to talk about just like small changes that you could do to honor the season. We're going to talk about how you can go full out if you're in that position of life, and then just some ways that some of the barriers that can kind of keep us from doing this and how to work around those.
So some of this is talking about even summer guidelines because really summer has a very different, it has its own natural rhythm. And I think sometimes we don't even realize it. But think about it, the days are so much longer. The sun rises much earlier in the morning. And even where I live in the southeast, if you get up early enough, you can still take a nice walk and not sweat. You know, the afternoons can be very hot and very oppressive. But then the evenings can cool down a little bit. Maybe the breeze will pick back up. And really think about how to use the light and the temperature as a way to kind of help you structure your day. So, like I said, mornings maybe like I love porch coffee every morning. We have coffee on the porch before the day gets started. I see neighbors that are out at 6 o'clock in the morning taking a walk with each other, having a grand time. Maybe you want to hit the farmer's market early in the morning, whatever, before it gets really too hot. And then I know mid-afternoon, well, if it's really hot, naps are an outstanding idea if you can take them. But maybe batch the boring, which is a term you came up with, which I love, Adrian. It's do that stuff inside that you have to do, whether it's the house mouse work or paying bills or running errands in the air-conditioned car, but use that afternoon heat to a way to avoid it and get stuff done. And then in the evening, protect those evening hours as well. Maybe take a sunset walk. Maybe eat outside if you want to. Pretend you're in Italy. Have a dinner outside, or sit by the fire pit if it's comfortable. Whatever you want to do, use those evening hours. For us, it's finally cool enough to swim, so we might start swimming in the evening rather than earlier in the day. That's a way to use those hours intentionally, but not in like a hyper-structured fashion. So,
Yeah, we talk a lot about like New Year's resolutions and productivity and stuff on here, and I feel like summer is like the best time to get all those like feel good wellness routines in, right? You got the best produce, you got the best weather, the get sunshine as soon as you wake up. Well, now it's actually doable. So
Mhm.
for me, it's really building in that stuff that just makes you feel good and energizes you as well. And I think one of the fun ideas that you brought up a while ago, Mary, I think when your kids were still home, actually, was the temperature rule. And so for me, this is kind of a way to build in some novelty that, like, if it hits over 100 degrees, we're doing margaritas for dinner or we're getting ice cream, something like that, where it can kind of be like, hey, you know what? This is the hottest days of the summer. What can we do that's actually fun? And just having that on that back burner, and then as soon as it hits, that that's something to look forward to.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, we did that. If it's over 85, we get to have ice cream. Or, just decide that you're going to turn your stove off for the summer.
Yeah.
Live on nice, cold, fresh fruit salads or cold soups like peach or gazpacho. Live on vegetable salads. I mean, that's a great way to, and also make it easier.
Hmm.
Because summer, that is part of the shift is the foods. We have all this, like you said, fresh produce, fresh fruit. And it becomes fun rather than a chore running to the farmer's market or whatever. But the whole
Yeah.
point is, it signals your brain that it's a different season. We're living differently, and it's a very different season. So there you know.
We like to do the charcuterie boards by the fire pit because it's kind of fun, it's easier. And so it doesn't feel like punitive. If you try to say like, oh, let's turn off the TV and go sit outside in the winter in Ohio, it's harsh,
Yeah.
You're not enjoying it. The margaritas do last longer, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of like a way to say like, hey, you know what, let's trade off some of this time because you do have so much more opportunities, and it just seems like everybody's happier in the summer, right?
Mhm.
So even if you're on your own, without neighbors or anybody interfering with you, what can you do that just kind of adds a little bit more like, oh, when it's summertime, I really look forward to. And it might be corn on the cob, it could be saltwater taffy. Like it doesn't have to be, strict and being productive at all. It's more just what makes you happy and what do you associate with that?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then there's a little bit of reality here. It's like sometimes our summer rhythms or my summer rhythm may not necessarily match up with my husband's.
Yeah.
Or even my friends, because I mean, the schedules are just nutty. And people are like traveling and they're going to the beach and they're visiting their kids or whatever. And that's worth realizing that maybe not everybody has this kind of built-in group of people that you're automatically going to do things with that you did things with in the cooler months. But
Yeah.
also talking to your partner about where you want to come together and where you kind of want to do your own thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of have the both of the two worlds. Like I kind of have that single living because my husband travels a lot. So there's a lot of weeks where I'm just doing stuff on my own or I'm able to do whatever I want without anybody judging.
Hmm.
But then when he's here, it kind of makes it dynamic because we're completely opposites when it comes to summer. So for
Hmm.
me, it's like I find just kind of like when we do organizing or anything else, if you start doing stuff with yourself first, they're gonna kind of get jealous and kind of come along. So, he often will join me for the fire pit or the charcuterie board or something because it's more fun than what he was going to do.
Hmm.
So it's for me, I think it's building it more for yourself and then inviting other people to it really makes it if I was trying to do it for both of us, I think I would limit my thinking too much. Does that make sense, Mary?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So start with yourself and then kind of bring them along.
Yes, absolutely. And then realize that in some cases they are not going, our partners or friends, they just want to do something different, and that's fine. Like I golf, he goes to archery. I like certain music, and he rather just stay home, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I go to things by myself all the time. I have no problems with that. Or I'll call a friend. But just realizing that. But yeah, sometimes they're like, yeah, I'll go to that. That's cool. I'd like that. And I'm like, cool, let's do it.
So one of the things that kind of helps us in my mind, Mary, is to kind of have a theme. So then I can kind of express that to my husband, but also to myself. What do I want this summer to feel like? And sometimes it's just I want to get ahead on work. Like this is gonna be a nasty winter kind of summer. Like I'm gonna do more work and then I'm gonna build in these rhythms so I still experience the season. But
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, no, this is the summer that I have this theme. So I shared a couple of the theme ideas that I have. So this won't work for everybody, but for me, I'm not somebody who can think of fun things on my own. Like if you just say like think of fun things you want to do this summer, I'm like, that's like the pool. I don't know. So if I kind of have a theme around it, then I'm like, oh, well, what would be that? And it challenges my thinking a little bit. I just wanted to share a couple of my themes that I came up with this
Good.
year, Mary. So hot off the press. James Bond summer. Okay, maybe not for me, right? But what if you had a James Bond summer? Like think like big experience. Like maybe this is the year you finally do skydiving. You go boating, like you're on a yacht, treat yourself to a yacht. You do a road trip, you do hikes, like more adventurous. Or complete opposite of that, hot girl summer, Mary. So it's centered around friends. Like you have maybe all of your friends are now empty nesters and you guys want to do gal pal trips. Maybe you just go by yourself to the spas, you go out to a fancy dinner, you do the dancing in the park, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Then, of course, you go to their childhood summer, grilling out, camping, pools, nothing super fancy, but you're just unplugged and really just enjoying life.
Uh-huh.
Which I think kind of also goes with the second one, which is the home camp retreat. So this is kind of like my ideal, I think, is that intentional staycation energy where we get like all the romance novels out. We have the board game set up. We have the fire pits. I like that idea. And I feel like the camp retreat fits into with what you were talking about the times of the day, right? So if you went to summer camp, you usually had to like your classes or your activities in the middle of the day, and then you had the fun in the morning and at night. So that
Mhm.
kind of works. And then I know we're going to talk more about the other theme, but like having just a touristy summer where you're going around and this is the year maybe you do a road trip or you do more camping or you do just even like day trips, learning about your town.
Mhm.
And of course, this year is the 250th of the US. So in
Yeah.
your area, Mary, I know your guys are doing a lot of
Yeah.
individual activities. We have a lot of big things. Like we have a boat being commissioned. We have this big train coming into town. So it's just like, hey, do you know what? These are historical, maybe once in a lifetime experiences. I would
Mhm.
never really like be like, oh, let's go look at a boat on my own. But but you know what? It's a special theme, right? So building
Yeah.
that in.
And every small town has got something. Everyone's got a parade or a festival or something going on. So it's a matter of kind of looking around and checking everything out, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not as thematic. I kind of find that like theme. I have to pick a theme. But you came up with the idea, and I love that of create a menu of options, and I love that kind of concept of you've got your little appetizers, you've got your entrees, you've got your desserts. So keep a list. Like I do this actually on my phone. Is when I find out about something, I just kind of put it in notes under fun stuff. And I just quickly either take a picture of it or type it up. So I keep a list of things on my phone that's really accessible, so I can check and see what's coming up and happening. You can also do quick things like read the paper someplace different, not on the back porch. Maybe go to, if you have a lake or whatever, go to the water's edge or maybe a beautiful overlook. Go to a different coffee place and actually sit inside the coffee place and drink the coffee rather than sitting in the car going somewhere else. If you pass by an interesting farmer's market, just stop and shop. You just pull in for a few minutes and pick up some great veggies and fruit for dinner. Like I said, use the back patio more. Have dinner out there, play your board games out there, sit out there and just read your book. This is really kind of more of the just quick stuff, but it's intentional to really enjoy the season, enjoy, as we talked about, the light and the heat when it's proper. And then you came up with that summer only membership. I think that's
Mhm.
brilliant. And all over the country, they have these really kind of, as you call them, the low commitment investments, the pool passes, the botanical garden passes, the kayak punch cards. And that really does take some of that decision making out because you've already said yes to it. And now you need to book in your calendar when you're going to go do that.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the challenge is making sure it gets into your calendar.
And it
Um,
kind of removes some of that friction because you already said yes, and you already spent some of the money. So, like, if you don't go to the pool, it's wasteful. So now it's not only fun, but you're saving.
Exactly. Exactly. You're using up what you spent.
Hmm.
Go more
I
than you
think
paid for.
I think one of the points too that Mary about your phone notes is that when we talked about being a tourist in your town, having that list of spaces, like sometimes you just find yourself out and you're like, oh, what else is in this area? It helps to have that. But I also found when I was doing this is that so many of these events that I want to do are all on the same weekend, right? And so
Yes.
you have to pick, or that's when your family decides to do a reunion and you're like, no, I got 10 festivals to be at, you know? So it does help to kind of have that list, although you have to update the dates, obviously. But
Mhm.
just, when you're looking forward to next year, it kind of helps to have that list to be like, oh, you know what, let's do that this coming summer.
You know
Um,
what? You're right, because the festivals do happen every year. People
yeah.
get the
hmm
repetitive. So if you can't do it this summer, put it on next summer's list.
But that kind of brings us to that tourist in your town idea. And again, this, for some of you who've been with us for over 5 years, you've heard us talk about this before, but it's really something we love. And it's we have so much right around us that we just kind of get used to because it's here. So, like Mary, you said, the different coffee shops, the different restaurants, that you haven't been to. I also kind of like to make a list of places that are within a few hours of me. So it'd be like a half day trip, or some places where it'd be kind of more like an all day trip or maybe an overnight. Kind of keeping a list of those types of things in my phone really helps. For us, like we're really blessed where we live. We have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of different festivals, but we also have a lot of different little fun towns where you could just go through them. I know, Mary, you like the reenactments, which of course are full day activities, but finding places that have that historic neighborhoods, it's just kind of fun to do. And it makes it very easy. So if the weather is bad, we're not going. If the weather is great, then we can
Right.
pull it out. And what do you feel like doing? Now, instead of starting from scratch, you have a whole list of ideas to pick from.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And and this is part of those bigger reaches, the full days, where we've always talked about we're going to do that someday.
hmm
Okay, well, some days now, because we've been talking about it for what, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah,
So make this summer the summer day, some days now, you know.
yeah. And you mentioned the solo question, and I think that that is definitely something that holds us back. You don't feel like, oh, I should do this stuff on my own. But so many of these places, you don't even feel like you're on your own because you're talking to the vendors, you're going out to the restaurants, you have other people there. Like, it's really a fun time to explore on your own if it's not something you're comfortable with doing.
Hmm.
But it also on the flip side is, if you want to go with someone, it's easy to say like, "Hey guys, I'm going to this festival or this music concert. Does anybody want to come with me?" Or if your gal pal calls you up and says, "Oh, let's get together. Oh, what should we do?" You'd be like, "Well, I got a whole list."
Hmm.
You can pick off
Exactly.
the list.
And the other way you can get involved is volunteer.
Mm,
And then you're
yeah,
kind of automatically thrown in with a whole group of people that are all volunteering at something, and you kind of make these instant connections with people because you're volunteering at that particular event.
yeah, absolutely. And extending that social circle a little bit better.
Hmm.
But I know, like for me, Mary, I say I want to do all these plans and everything, but then when Saturday comes, I'm like, I'd rather not, you know? It's so easy to become a homebody, and it's so easy to be like, I got more important obligations, right? And I think that goes back to what you were saying is it's important to actually schedule it because then you're challenging yourself to get out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I used to be like people would call and I would get out of bed to go do stuff. It's like, yes, I'm already in bed asleep, but let's go. And now I'm like you, I tend to just like, okay, I'll just stay, hang at home. But you're right. You have to really, the reason why summer slips away is stuff never gets scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
But the obligations do. I mean, obviously I've scheduled when I need to meet with clients and I've scheduled when I, need to meet with the accountant and all of these things. But and then this is true. We have the aging parents, the adult children, a partner, all these different things happen. Our main hustles, our side hustles, that's real and that doesn't necessarily help. But you really want to schedule in intentionally what you want to happen this summer. Now, I do that I'm lucky enough that 3 mornings a week for 2 hours, I schedule in a golf game. I'm very
Yeah.
lucky. I'm very lucky that I have that flexibility with my business. And I'm very protective of those, that 9 to 11. I don't schedule over it. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the type of intentionality because you can't eliminate the load you already have, but you really want to kind of fence off when you're going to do these fun things too.
Yeah.
Don't let the must do's get in front of the want to do's.
Yeah, and I mean, in a way, that's kind of like where they would say typically like have an accountability partner, be like, oh, we're done to do this. So if you schedule something with a friend, you're most likely to do it. But
Hmm.
I also think like for me, that's where that theme kind of comes in, or even just the small little routine things building in, because it's like a check. Like, yes, I did have a James Bond summer. Like, what have I done that's James Bondish this week? You can kind of plug and play that. But the other part of it is, did I take time to really just enjoy the day? Like, did I watch the sunset or did I have coffee in the porch? Like, can you do something where you're actually kind of forcing yourself to do it?
Hmm.
Ironically, like having fun, we have to sometimes force ourselves to give us that permission, right?
Yeah,
And it shouldn't be that way, but I know, like, in my mind, sometimes it feels like it is.
right, exactly.
So, I think like if you're in the fortunate period where you do have a lot of flexibility, then for me, like that's like, hey, go for it. And batch your boring stuff. Could be like Mondays is when I get all the junk out of and then enjoy the rest. But like you said, if you're in that busier stage still, fence off that fun time, be it time-wise or a specific day.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And for me, I can't batch the boring because it just the way my life works with my business and everything, every
It's
day
just
is
all
different.
boring in your
It,
world.
yeah, except when I'm working with clients, which are very exciting. Which is it's like woo, woo, party. But it happens sporadically throughout the whole week. So making
Yeah.
sure that I corner off, you know, reading the paper at the lake on Sunday morning or going to the pool and doing little water aerobics, which is what I've been trying to do for 3 years and haven't gotten there yet. So this is the summer.
This
This is
is
it.
the summer.
This is the summer.
Mary is committing, everyone. We should check back in.
Committing to this. It's important to schedule that out and not let other things interfere with it. I mean, because let's be honest, where I live, summer starts, well, it usually starts around June and it can go through September into
Hmm.
October sometimes. But other places you really have 6 to 8, maybe 12 weeks. So, maybe decide you're not going to clean as much as you
Yeah,
normally do. Who cares? I mean,
yeah.
really, nobody ever laid there dying, going, gee, I wish I'd dusted more. Um,
But I mean that's true because like we could trade off the time that we're spending right now, especially because like I said, in that spring energy, a lot of us are getting a lot of stuff done.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff
Mhm.
done at work, a lot of stuff done at home, spring cleaning and all that kind of stuff, right? So could you let it go for a few weeks? Maybe not the whole summer, but like could you try to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Or at work right now, everybody, like during the summer, not right now, but during the summer months, everybody's on vacation. And so a lot of the meetings fall through the holes and stuff. And so you actually have time to focus on your actual 9 to 5 task finally.
Mhm.
So you can actually get more done in less time during the summer. And then so then are you more committed to getting out of work or doing something on your lunch hour that you typically would have eaten up with those meetings? The idea of at home is like, could you outsource stuff too? Like if it's only for a couple months, like could you pay a little bit to outsource? So I know not we don't have it here, but a lot of people outsource their laundry. We outsource our lawn care. It builds back a couple hours each week that you
Mhm.
can go and enjoy your life, because sadly those endless summers are just not as endless anymore. And
No,
that dust and
no.
laundry is. So even if you didn't dust all summer, you could just
Yes,
you could take care of it in one go in the fall. You'll be
yes.
fine.
I love that. Yes. Yeah, the endless summers are not, dust and laundry are. So.
Yeah.
So, talking about that, and we're like, okay, the summer is not endless. Well, here's what we really need to do. We need to give ourselves
Yeah.
permission to do this. You don't need a reason to enjoy summer. We have all spent years, decades, making sure that everyone else's needs were met. And
Hmm.
this is the season that's for us. Give ourselves permission to enjoy the summer and do what we would like to do. It's not selfish. I mean, joy is not a selfish thing. It's
Hmm.
important for us and for our well-being. And, if we're happy, a lot of other people are happy too. And that doesn't mean we ignore our partner's, desires and wishes as well. It just means that we also make sure that we are important and what
Hmm.
we want to do happens as well. So,
Yeah, because we would carve it out for, a family member that needed us. We would drop everything to do it. We would stop dusting for our family members.
yes,
We
we
can
would.
stop dusting for ourselves, right? Or a
Mhm.
work project. You were willing to work late for that. Can you give yourself a couple of those hours to recharge?
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly.
But the good news is, Mary, it's May. So in real time, if you're watching this, so the whole season is still ahead of us, and that's really exciting. Like, just think of like, what if you did do a theme summer? What if you built these into routines? What if you just tried it, to just see how that would go? I think like that's kind of our key takeaway. It's just think about what do you want your summer to look like? What do you want to look back on and say? So maybe you don't have a lot of time, but you can do 3 big weekend trips, where you do something crazy like skydiving or going to that vineyard that you've always wanted to do, or seeing
Mhm.
that concert. What would make you genuinely happy when you look back on that time to say, like, wow, that really marked that summer versus the days just kind of slipping away from you?
Exactly. And whether you do theme or whether you do menu, regardless, start making the list.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to take the action, not I'll get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it next week. I mean, today, open your phone and start making a list. And if you're watching this in real time, like you said, our next monthly live is actually tomorrow night, May the 20th.
Yeah.
And we would love, y'all jump on. We would love to hear what type of summer that you're hoping to have. And the link, of course, to join us is going to be below. We
Yeah.
also have a link about our summer bucket list video. If you
Yeah.
need some ideas about that, that's also going to be linked below.
Yeah. That was one of our older presentations, but it's definitely has some great content in it. So, yeah, our monthly lives are really fun. They're something we do that makes us a little bit more unique in the YouTube community because we start here on YouTube and then we go into a private Zoom room. So if you have questions, if you have just want to get to know more people, find some people to share your summer bucket list with, we would love to have you join us over there.
Oh,
All right,
absolutely.
Mary, I think that's it. I gotta go start planning my summer. So until next time, friend. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.